And while governments wrestled with unrest at home, they were also stirring up trouble abroad. Britain had been plotting to destabilize the Ottoman Empire since the war began. Ottoman Turkey was Germany's ally in the Middle East. Her empire stretched across Arabia into the Hejaz, a vast desert area which included the holy cities of Medina and Mecca. Their loss would seriously undermine the Turks' standing in the Muslim world and boost Britain's. The British turned to the Arabs of the Hejaz, holding out the carrot of independence if they rose up against their Turkish masters.
If the Arab nation assist England in this war that has been forced upon us by Turkey, England will guarantee that no internal intervention will take place in Arabia, and we will give Arabs every assistance against foreign aggression.
The idea of Britain backing Arabian independence worried the India Office.
A strong Arab state might be more dangerous to Christendom than a strong Ottoman state. And Lord Kitchener's policy of destroying one Islamic state merely for the purpose of creating another has always seemed to me disastrous.
The India Office needn't have worried. Kitchener was playing a cynical game, never intending to hand real power to the Arabs of the Hejaz. But the British showered the Emir of Mecca, Sharif Hussein, with gold and dropped hints that if all went well, he might realize his dream of becoming leader of the Arabs. On the 5th of June 1916, the Arab revolt began. Mecca quickly fell to the rebels, but the main Turkish garrison at Medina held its ground. The Turkish commander, Fahri Pasha, refused to surrender.
Until my soldiers are buried under the rubble of Medina, in a crimson shroud of blood and fire, the red flag of the Ottomans shall never be removed from the castle turrets of Medina.
The uprising commanded no popular support. But the British did have a man on the spot. T.E. Lawrence, a charismatic 28-year-old officer attached to Sharif Hussein's forces in the Hejaz. Lawrence spoke Arabic. He saw where the Arabs' strengths lay.
I think one company of Turks properly entrenched in open country would defeat the Sharif's armies. Their real sphere is guerrilla warfare. They would dynamite a railway, plunder a caravan, steal camels better than anyone.
The Turks were most vulnerable along their stretched lines of communication. Lawrence and the Arabs became experts in railway sabotage.
The last stunt was the hold-up of a train. The whole job took 10 minutes and they lost 70 killed. My loot was a superfine red Baluch prayer rug. I hope this sounds the fun it is. It's the most amateurish Buffalo Billy sort of performance.
A German on the train saw the attack differently.
The Bedouin mob came bursting into the carriage to kill and plunder. I could feel the blood pouring down my body, but I was left alone. The thieves' minds were drawn towards looting, having killed 40 men, women and children and taken the rest captive.
T.E. Lawrence adopted the cause of Arab nationalism.
I hope that the Turkish flag may disappear from Arabia. It is so good to have helped in making a new nation, and I hate the Turks so much that to see their own people turning on them is very gratifying.
Lawrence now dressed as an Arab. He asked his mother for help with his costume.
If that silk headcloth with the silver ducks on it, last used, I believe, as a tablecloth, still exists, will you send it out to me? Such things are hard to get here now.
Capturing Turkish-held Jerusalem was a key British objective in 1917. Seizing the port of Aqaba would strengthen the Arabs' case for a role in the campaign. Lawrence realized that all Aqaba's guns pointed out to sea. The town was defenseless from the rear. That meant a 600-mile ride across the Hejaz at the height of summer.
Mudflats are purgatory. Sun reflects from them like mirror, flame yellow, cutting into our eyes.
Seven weeks later, the Arab force reappeared outside Aqaba, catching the Turks totally off guard. The town fell just 4 days later. The Middle East was stunned. General Allenby, commanding British forces in the region, now wrote the Arab revolt into his Jerusalem campaign, reinforcing it with armoured cars, air support, artillery, and colonial troops. On the 11th of December 1917, Allenby entered Jerusalem on foot with his officers, including Lawrence. The Arabs would find they had won not self-rule, but new masters. Lawrence had known all along that the Arabs of the Hejaz were merely the tools of British subversion, as he admitted long after.
The Arabs saw in me a free agent of the British government and demanded from me an endorsement of its written promises. So I had to join the conspiracy and assured the men of their reward. I was continually and bitterly ashamed. Had I been an honest advisor of the Arabs, I would have advised them to go home and not risk their lives fighting for such stuff.